You want to go back to Tyron real quick? He had some cool things to say about.
He's been on one, man, and I'm proud of Tyron for kind of going out there. I think it's good. You know, you look at guys who are in kind of, you know, disagreements with Dana. It usually pays off for you. You look at Chael Sonnen a little bit. You look at GSP, Tito Ortiz, a lot. John Jones. Think about it. Think about the guys who have their kind of public disputes with Dana White. It usually works out for you. What do you got, man?
So in this one, this isn't really shit talking. It's more, he does it in a slick way. Like the three people that he would have a potential matchup with.
This is TMZ asking him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
shout out TMZ.
The same TMZ interview where he was talking about Dana White and all that stuff too. So this all came up. So he was talking about how Michael Bisping, George St. Pierre, and Conor McGregor would not want to fight him.
Tell us what he says about Bisping. Will you read these quotes for us?
Yeah, sure. So the Bisping one was more like, the way that he fights is he comes forward. So even Wonder Boy would have KO'd him. And he's saying that the way Woodley hits, he would be gone. And he's even lighter weight than Bisping. So he would destroy Bisping. So that's why Bisping didn't want to fight him or doesn't want to fight him.
Okay.
GSP, same thing. He said that Johnny Hendricks put GSP in a 3-year coma because he didn't want to fight for 3 years after he got hit by him. He got concussed by him. And he's saying to GSP that if I hit you, it would be way worse, right?
And he'd be right.
And then he's also been watching him his entire career. He's been growing up watching GSP, so he knows exactly how he fights, and he prepared for his
I agree with him. I think GSP wants no part of Woodley. That's GSP's worst matchup.
Wow. Worst?
It's a terrible matchup for GSP.
And a lot of respect to...
Yeah, I just style it. You know, it's all about styles. And for George, that's a style matchup nightmare. It just is. An explosive, in his prime, a guy who is a better wrestler than George. I don't see George wearing him out. I don't see, I guess George could do the Roy McDonald game plan, but he's not as long. He's not as big. I just think that for George, that Woodley would be a different beast for him.
That's something I never really even thought about before, them fighting, but just imagining them fighting.
Him fighting makes more sense than him fighting Michael Bisping.
Definitely. And they look like they're more the same size too, right?
Yeah. And then what?
And the last one was Conor McGregor. He said Conor has fought his way to a point where he can't get any, throw me fights anymore. Now he has to fight legitimate competition.
You tell me Eddie Alvarez is a throw me fight?
I know, right? But so he says like he has to fight the upper echelon of fighters now.
True. He's a two-time world champion.
Exactly.
Just like you do.
Ferguson, he would get destroyed. Khabib, he would get destroyed by, and by him, he would get destroyed by C. So he's like, yeah, the Mayweather thing is probably the best bet. That's the only one he's going to do. He's not going to fight any of these guys or him. So he's just making an argument as to why these guys wouldn't want to fight him.
I don't have a problem with anything he said for any of those guys. I think with George, he's right. It's a lot of it's sad but true, and you guys know I love George. And with Conor McGregor, yeah, he's in a position, and that's true. Conor's in a position where he doesn't see. I wouldn't say you don't have to fight somebody real because you can't say Jose Aldo, Eddie Alvarez aren't real. Like, those are very real. And to be honest, Woodley, and I love you. He's beating Eddie Alvarez and beating Jose Aldo are more impressive wins than you've ever had in your career. If you think about it,
those are crazy impressive
wins. So take it easy. And he also beat Chad Mendez. So people need to pump the brakes a little bit on that, critiquing Conor on that. But to his defense, where, Tony Ferguson and Khabib are terrible matchups for Conor. I agree with him there. What else did he say? And they said best option is to fight Floyd. Correct.
And then retire, just like you were saying too.
That'd be my game plan for him. Or do that fight and then depend how much money he needs, then take one mega fight and demand some crazy money from the UFC. Or again, fight Floyd, lose in decision, or maybe beat him right off the sunset. I mean, I don't think, but as far as Conor, his position where he'd have to fight somebody real, that doesn't make sense. Fight someone where matchup wise, it's not in favor of him. Neither was Eddie Alvarez. Neither was Chad Mendez. Jose Aldo's a tough one, but those 3 wins are better than any Woodley wins. For being real, which he is, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not disrespecting Woodley. But Woodley's right on most all this stuff he's talking about right now. I think it's good he's coming out and talking like this. I really do.
It's like shit talking, but not shit talking. the way I read it is kind of weird.
Yeah, it doesn't offend me. Like, if you're a Conor McGregor fan, if you're a George St. Pierre fan or Bisping fan, this shouldn't offend anyone. Like, let's be clear. You can act like I'm not a big draw, but Johnny Hendricks sent you into a 3-year coma from fighting because you don't want to get hit and concussed.
Little shit talking there.
That's true, though. That's kind of like what happened. Like, after that, George was like, I'm kind of good. I'm taking a lot of hits. Yeah. It's true. With Conor, he's right. Conor has tough matchups left. I have no problem with that. Then with Bisping, he's right. I like Woodley's coming out and doing this.
Where it says there, the Conor McGregor one, how he would just take, 70, but we're thinking maybe 100 million too at one time.
70 to 100, yeah.
70 to 100. So if he
still
did
70 million, yeah.
Yeah, So that's what I wanted to ask you. So if you were in a position, and you're very cognizant of your health, your brain health and everything, if you had a chance to do something where you could do the whatever boxing match and make $100 million, would you retire there? Or if you could make another, 20-something, 50 million in one more UFC fight, would you do that?
I would probably stop, man. But again, I was never world champ, so maybe those guys walked a different beat. But
you're very competitive too, right?
I'm super competitive, but if you gave me $100 million, I'm not a complete moron with my money. We're set, man. And he has a kid on the way. And I think also you're going to be singing a different tune when that baby comes in the world and you're responsible for that baby. And you're like, well, how much head trauma do I want? Ferguson and Khabib are rough fucking matchups. Not saying you can't beat them, but stylistically, they're very tough matchups. And I have, money put away. I fought Floyd in the biggest fight of all time. I walk away undefeated in mixed martial arts, especially, not in the UFC, I walk away undefeated. He lost that one silly fight. I'm good. I would walk away.
So you would, yeah.
Yep.
I think anyone...
Go do movies, Games of Thrones, whatever you want, not get head trauma and still keep your fame. And the notoriety he's going to get if they make this Floyd-Conor fight, there's nowhere else to go but down. So why wait for the downfall? Just ride out on your horse. Taking an L from Floyd, if that does happen, not saying it does happen, in a decision loss, that'd be a win. That'd be a win.
If he survived.
I'd ride off to the sunset. By ride off to the sunset, that horse is going straight to Hollywood.
He's the one guy that could probably do it too.
He's the only guy.
Have you heard it or have you seen his acting? I only saw that one commercial he did.
I've seen it where he's himself.
Yeah.
Acting's tough, man. Take it from a guy who's freaking does classes and has had auditions and had some roles. Acting's a beast, it's a real art. But Conor's such a big star, and Ronda's such a big star, and Brock Lesnar and Batista, and you see these huge stars where they're just playing themselves. He should be all right. Now, if he's going to play a dramatic role and they're making fucking Schindler's List 2, okay, probably not in the cards for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's playing an Irish badass. All right, let's do it.
That'd be a great role for him.
What else you got, brother?
All right, the next one is Eddie Alvarez. So he's turning down fights, apparently. He said that Nate Diaz turned down a fight with him. And then he was saying, I'm sorry, not he. Then Michael Chiesa and Dustin Poirier, he turned down fights with both of them.
I'm with Eddie on this.
He wants just big ones, right?
I'm with Eddie. Well, in Eddie's career, where he's at, I don't have a problem with him, and there's no disrespect. I have no problem with him turning down Chiesa, Michael Chiesa, and I love Chiesa, but I have no problem with him turning him down. Nate Diaz said he wants to fight for the belt at 55 or Conor rematch. That's it. So I'm not surprised he turned down that fight, especially the demand for the Diaz brothers now. I can't blame those guys. They've been in the sport so long, they want to get money. The Poirier, Dustin Poirier fight doesn't do much for Eddie. Mm-hmm. So I'm with it. I don't have a problem with it, but Eddie's also not in a position really to turn stuff down,
Yeah, because he went on record saying that he wanted a fight. But I guess he did say he wanted a really big fight. So
that's fine. I guess he is former champ. It's tough because he's not a huge draw. He's just not. And I love Eddie Alvarez, but he's not a huge draw where he can make these demands right now, especially coming off a loss. But the Poirier and the Chiesa fight, I get it. I can't be mad at him. And then Nate Diaz, he turned it down. He's doing the same thing for you. You're not the draw. Nate's the draw in that equation. So Nate wants to make bank, bro. Want to make bank, bro. So I get it. I can't be mad at Eddie. But the thing is, the UFC can't be mad at any of this. Woodley wanting mainstream fights, all these guys, Michael Bisping wanted just the biggest name possible. All these guys, except for heavyweights. You never hear from heavyweights. But all these guys want the biggest fights. That's what you've turned this business into. That's the business model. Conor wants the biggest fight. Everyone wants the biggest fight because they know it's going to get the most money. You don't want to fight the toughest guy because the toughest guy might not be a big draw. Whose fault is this? I didn't do that shit.
I know, it's all happening. It's so crazy. It's all happening now.
Again, pick your poison. You guys want this to be the entertainment league. Okay, don't get mad when Eddie Alvarez doesn't want to fight Dustin Poirier or Michael Chiesa because they're not huge draws. Don't get mad when, Nate Diaz has turned down these fights. Don't get mad when Nick Diaz turned down these fights. Don't get mad when GSP demands this or Woodley demands this. You guys asked for it. This is what you turned it into. If we were going just off rankings, you wouldn't have this. The guys would have to fight this. Guys would have to do this. But again, I'm not the captain of this ship. I just critique the ship.
I remember that time when every fighter, not every single one, but pretty much every fighter was like, I would never, turn down a fight. And it was a big deal if you turned down a fight. It was huge news. Now it seems like everyone's
you have to accept it.
Fights.
You have to adjust to it because even Cowboy suffered from it. We all love Cowboy. Cowboy knows I love him. He's a guy who took every fight. That road doesn't end well. That a movie doesn't end well, brother. It just doesn't. You're in the business of sharks. Those sharks have to eat. They know they can call on you to do work for them. They know they can bank on you to fill every need. But when you lose, okay, sorry, brother. Well, can you fight for again? God, man, I just got concussed. I need a little bit of time off. No, you're the Cowboy.
Yeah,
God, man, I just fought Matt Brown and fucking got dropped. I ended up winning. People forget, but I did get dropped. I know, but you went on the Denver card. Remember, you demanded it. Here's fucking Jorge Masvidal. He loses. Now where are we at? That's that double-edged sword. You want to be the Cowboy. The UFC calls you the Cowboy. They're marking you. That's your thing. You're good. It comes with a price, though.
Is that his?
And the price is you will probably never be world champion because they're going to throw you the terrible matchups because you're going to have 2-week camps. You're going to have 3-week camps. It's not going to be ideal matchups. It's going to be matchups that don't make sense. You're the Cowboy.
Yeah, he made him into this thing. He created this thing with himself.
You created it. Now, pick your poison.
You know him pretty well. Is it really, really, truly part of him, or is that his business strategy to take every single fight?
I think it's him. I think it's him. But at the same time, fighters shouldn't be making business decisions. And it worked out for Cowboy, and he makes bank. But for a Cowboy world champion, you can't be that guy. So I wish, like after the Matt Brown fight, I get it. You want to fight in Denver. Someone from his team or in his group went, dude, I know it's important to fight in Denver. Masvidal's a fucking monster. You got concussed, man. It's just not enough time to go right into camp. I know you're sparring, but your brain just hasn't healed. You're in a position to fight for world championship, man. Who knows what happened? But you're telling me if Cowboy didn't beat Masvidal, Cowboy wouldn't be fighting Woodley probably next?
Yeah.
Probably. Mm-hmm. They want Cowboy to be champ, but you took the fight in Denver, got knocked out. Now we need some time off.